Hey, what's up guys? I'm back and today I'm down in Florida visiting my friend Charlie Moorcroft. There he is.
How's it going?
And we're looking at some of the turtles and tortoises that Charlie works with, and we're going to talk about his top 5 favorites. I mean, I've done my favorites before, but I kind of wanted to ask a friend, get some different input and be able to share some different information with you guys and kind of talk about some good turtles and tortoises that work out good as pets, and this might help you guys make a good choice.
This is my top one, top pick, top favorite animal. The reason I started doing all this with turtles and tortoises, these are Brazilian cherry heads. This is one from last year.
What is it that you like the most about these?
I really like the color variation, the size, the temperament, the living in South Florida, the ease of care.
Yeah, they have good personalities too. I mean, the ones that I have that you gave me, I mean, they just have great personalities. They come running over for food. They pay attention, you know, like instead of hiding all the time, they kind of watch what's going on.
Yeah, they're pretty personable, pretty confident. There's only a few days per year when they need to come inside. Weather here is really great for them. Pretty humid, pretty warm. They breed really well. They grow really well. They grow pretty smooth here. I just think they're amazing, great first tortoises.
Now, what does it cost to get, you know, a small cherry head? I mean, average price.
I'd say 150 to 300, depending on varying degrees of red or marbling. This guy doesn't have any marbling, but some get this really cool kind of white marbling pattern, which is more highly sought after. The larger amount of red is more popular. They come in kind of an orangey shade, some yellows. I like that they match, their legs and head match, where a normal northern redfoot, their heads and legs are different colors. These guys, just look the same, they kind of match. They stay a little bit smaller, the care is exactly the same. They're maybe a little bit of an upgrade of a redfoot. I don't know what order I would call them of the top 5, but these are Egyptian tortoises. Most of the species I work with are endangered or in some form of conservation. These guys are really endangered. There probably won't be any left in my lifetime in the wild. I also like the small tortoises. These guys are really, really bumpy. These guys are really cool. They're desert species. Once you get them, they're very easy to care for. They like it a little bit drier, a little bit warmer, vegetarian, lots of weeds, easy to feed, really easy to care for. I'd say they're harder to find. Not that many people have them. All of them in the country right now that you would be able to get are captive raised, which is great. None of them are being imported or taken from the wild. There's frankly nothing left to take. So it feels good to kind of raise a species that needs a little bit of help. These guys are pretty personable. They sleep a lot of the summer and they stay hidden most of the day, but they'll come out, they'll eat, walk around, have a drink, and then go, kind of chill for the day. One of the interesting things about breeding these are the males do well if you give them a tiny period of combat where you put 2 males together or a small group of males, and they will bump each other, run into each other, kind of fake bite each other, and that kind of stimulates them to get into the kind of breeding groove and help with fertility.
So if somebody was interested in one of these, about how would they go about finding availability, and what would be about the average cost?
There's some trusted producers, breeders, friends. Just do your homework. Some people raise them solely for the price. Some people raise them because they love the species and want them to have a good home. I found these through just networking with friends, and there's a guy named Ralph Till in Tampa who produces a lot of them. Almost all of them here have come from him or through him. So he's probably my favorite person that works with these. And also being in Florida, I wanted to acquire animals that were from similar climate. Believe it or not, I really like these guys. These are Pancake tortoises from Kenya, from Africa. And literally, just like their name, they really do just stack on top of each other. These guys are 2020 animals. They are from last year. Also, just a great species, great pet, easy to care for. They're a little bit pliable here. I don't know if you can see that. I don't want to squeeze it too hard. But they have the ability to cram into rocks and take a breath and jam their legs, and they're pretty predator proof. When I find them, they're always in a colony, they're always together, they're always kind of stacked on top of each other. They really like wedging into tight areas. Their care is pretty easy. They also like it a little bit dry. This system is white and bright lights and has heat, so kind of helps with their care. Florida, we fight humidity more than temperature, so that helps dry out their space.
And these are being captive bred as well?
These are, yes. I think for a while there were some still coming in, but maybe a year or two ago they stopped that, which is great. All of these are captive raised. These were born in Tampa and sent to me to raise.
So to keep these, I mean, it's important to give them that cover. Those, what you did here is, you've got like some little small boards and then some flat pieces of slate to provide them that cover so that they can do their natural behavior of kind of getting underneath that.
Yeah, they like to climb. They're great climbers, and they have kind of options into here. I used to kind of prop this up here, also let them kind of hide under it, take it down when I put food out. But they really love to feel tight, to feel wedged, to feel really trapped in an area, and just hang out. Let's go with turtles. Light one off. These guys are striped mud turtles. I think these are amazing. These guys are little, ferocious, fierce, like mini snapping turtles, really. Their neck can come out pretty long. They're really personable. They stay tiny. They're pretty common, pretty easy to find. This one's a really cool colored one, a little bit less common than most of the three stripes. There's a good shot of his head coming out. These guys can live in a tank or a pond. They're pretty hardy. They don't really care about temperature too much. They don't need anything really special for basking either. They don't really come up that much. They live in these grow out tubs until they reach a little bit older and then kind of start telling me they're ready to go to a different spot. But most of the time, especially with the babies here, they're totally comfortable just if they have a place to hide, clean space and food. They're pretty bulletproof. They're not asking for more.
And these setups that you start them off in, I mean, this is pretty basic. I mean, you've literally got like a plastic tub, some plants, some corrugated plastic they can hide under. I mean, this is a great way to start them off. They feel secure because they've got cover, and then you can kind of monitor their growth and how they're doing.
And for sure, I wouldn't keep them in here forever, but a large tank would do well. There's custom-made plexiglass ones that you could do a really cool habitat. Diet is pretty easy. They're dried shrimp, some pellets, some earthworms, some fish, prepared foods, chicken hearts, pretty much whatever you have. And then I have some babies of these, which are really tiny. It's amazing how small these guys are when they're born.
Yeah, the musks and muds when they hatch out are almost like a little beetle or something.
This guy's about a month old. And I always am excited when I see poop in there, which means they're eating. So they're so tiny.
But those stripes are, evident pretty early on.
Yeah, this one came out really, I think it's pretty colorful, definite stripes. There's another one in here which is even more so.
Wow, yeah, those are really cool.
So I totally recommend these. They're pretty common. They should be pretty easy to find. I would always recommend captive. I'm a huge fan of captive bred. I'm not a huge fan of wild caught. I don't think these are necessarily protected in Florida, but that doesn't mean they should just go be pinched out of the wild. work with someone you know, work with someone who's already raising them and understands their care. You know, these guys, I hatch them myself. I don't worry about diseases or parasites or anything that maybe would be bothered by wild animals.
Yeah, and I'm always talking about how musk turtles and mud turtles make good pets, and you know they breed readily, so that you know it's easy to get captive bred. And then you know these guys are just a really attractive mud turtle, and easy to house and easy to care for, and good personality. So I feel like these are. I always recommend musks and muds as kind of the best bang for the buck.
Oh, absolutely. And the colors are. This guy's just remarkable looking, I think. Lots of variations. They get really personable. They'll follow you around the tank. They're, pretty ravenous. They're always begging for food. They watch me when I walk through the room. This guy's always watching.
What's number 5?
I would say Spangler Eye. These guys are probably, I'd say they're number 5. I'd say the last on the list, mostly because, not that the care is hard, the care is very simple. Mostly it is locating them. These guys are from Vietnam. These are black-breasted leaf turtles. All of them here are captive bred. Full-grown male. I'd say he's not even 4 inches. He's produced to have a daughter of this guy. These guys make great pets. Kind of a terrarium environment. They like it a little more humid. I was showing you earlier, these guys even live with the colony of isopods. So he basically has drive-through isopods whenever he's hungry. And that's kind of cool. I like the plant. I like, deep litter. He's got a water bowl that he hangs out in. I miss this occasionally. It's just a different look, tiny animal. Instead of the desert look, this is more of a tropical, and you can be more elaborate than this. This is just as basic and easy, as I threw together for him.
And what's neat about these guys is not only are they, extremely attractive and interesting, and they have cool personality, but there's a bit of exclusivity that comes with keeping these. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people here in the U.S. at least that are keeping these and breeding these, and so our friend Anthony literally wrote the book on them, and it's really cool to you're kind of part of a special club with these.
Which is fun, and I love Anthony. He's been a really good friend and a great mentor. But mostly I just like their temperament, their personality. I don't know if there's a worm in here or not.
It's funny, he sees the blue cup and immediately is
this guy,
interested.
Yeah, I don't feed a lot of worms. This is my worm farm. Okay, so
that's a great idea.
If you have Spangler Eye, you need an indoor worm farm. This is some scraps, some cardboard, okay, here we go.
Take notes.
Take notes, give it a little, get rid of some of the extra minerals. All right, buddy. So these guys have a really big prey drive. If it moves, they want to bite it.
So how hard is it to acquire, one of these guys, and what is an estimate on the cost?
I'd say $600 to $1,000 to get these. For a while, males were harder to find than females. I think that seems to have leveled out. I've bred a few, so I'm lucky enough to have this gal here, who, let's see if she'll take a worm. She's a year old. She grew fairly quickly in her water. I've given her a chance to live in a terrarium, and she just really prefers to be in her tub. And she should also
went straight for it.
Yeah, so it's exciting to have produced these. I've had medium luck. I've hatched 5, and I've been able to raise 2 well. This is the oldest one, and then I have one from this year. Once they reach this point, they're pretty stable, but I've struggled a little bit with getting them to eat when they were younger. But you know, once I'm not so worried about this one. Once she's this size, she's good to go. And I'm surprised she didn't want to live in the terrarium. It's a little bigger, you know, places to go and investigate. But she pretty much just, you know, froze and kind of shut down. So I put her back in here, and she bounced right back. So part of, I guess, our job is working with these animals is to listen to them and kind of read them and make sure we pick up on little subtleties and make sure they are comfortable, and you know, we just have to listen to what they're telling us. And luckily I love these guys enough that I watch them. I watch all the animals here. I want to have animals that matter enough to me that I'm kind of always familiar with and understand who's eating, who's not, and who's got issues, who doesn't, who's unhappy with their current environment. And part of that is easily done because these animals are so small. So she'll be retained and added to the breeding group. I get calls or texts or messages, Facebook messages usually, about once a week asking if I have any for sale. So these are really sought after, pretty popular. I don't do this for the money. I do this because I like them, and I use my personal collection as an educational opportunity for some people to come and visit and talk. We have a foundation that we have, which is separate from this collection, but we use this collection as, you know, an introduction to it. So I like working with animals that are endangered, protected, in need of our help. There's some endangered animals that are extinct in the wild, but are common enough in captivity that, you know, check a lot of boxes for me. And, you know, it's nice to keep assurance colonies going, and nice to have people be able to live with them and take care of them and value them and understand them.
Big thanks to Charlie for sharing his top 5 favorites. These are awesome turtles. I could probably hang out in here all day just staring at this stuff and watching everybody eat and chase worms. Yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you, Charlie. We'll catch you guys on the next episode, and we'll see you guys later. Take care. Peace.